What's up, podcast fans? It's the Too Much Dip podcast. It's Monday. My name is Dave. I'm going to host. As always, in studio with me, I've got none other than Dillon Shivery.
Well, hello, David. Thank you for the fine introduction. Hello, KJ from Wisconsin. Man, wow, 2 more college football list Saturdays until the season starts.
Cannot get here soon enough. That's something I've said for a long, long time.
Yeah. You have always said that. Man, it's getting so close, Davey.
Did you guys watch a lot of preseason ball?
No.
Big preseason weekend.
I don't know what it is. I know it's actual real football. I can't. I just can't.
Bro, 2 more sleeps till actual football. That's what people would tweet. And I'd be like, fuck
Okay.
yeah. What?
Okay. Fair. I mean, if you'd watch any football this weekend, specifically the Chiefs-Saints game, you would have seen former SMU by the way of Texas and also Arlington Lamar High School quarterback Shane Buechele make a Sports Center top 10 play. That was quite nice.
It was nice.
I won't say which one of the hosts on this show really felt that his noodle arm wouldn't last in the NFL versus, I don't know, Big Sam Ellinger. Both still in the league, but Buechele was
Okay.
Was it Randy?
name for
Did
himself.
Randy say
What is
some
he?
shit?
What is he, third in KC and never actually completed an actual regular season NFL pass? Okay.
correct. I
That
guess
sounds right. yeah.
Ellinger has that on him for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. I'm happy for Shane. I didn't know he
I am
was
too.
still bouncing around a little bit. It's a good organization to be a part of, right?
It's good.
Sticking with the same place. He was
good work
drafted
if you
by
can
them.
get
No
it.
bounce.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Guess KJ. KJ's in Wisconsin. What's up?
Elated to be here. I'd like to derail our show here briefly. Or actually, do we want to talk about our live streams? Let's do that before I tell the people how I almost lost a child this weekend.
Okay. Why don't you start? Tell us about the live streams.
Everyone's favorite part of the Too Much Dip podcast is coming back this fall in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, specific date and time TBD. But yeah, our weekly live streams in which we will talk specific NFL games for the upcoming week. Who knows? Maybe we'll hit you with a Monday night live stream and talk about the week that's passed and the Monday night football slate that lies ahead. Either way, good folks at DraftKings are back on board to make that happen. So looking forward to it. If you have not done so already, go subscribe to Too Much Dip on YouTube. I believe that's youtube.com/toomuchdip.
Go do that and go find the clip that we posted of the Nate Diaz, Logan Paul lookalike chokeout in New Orleans and jump into the comments and just mix it up. We need to get that thing going again. I want to quadruple our following again. So let's see if we can breathe some life into that. That was a fun time.
I forgot that was a lookalike situation. So given the post-fight results, hit those comments with, looks like the boys are right. You can fuck around with Nate Diaz. I don't know. Mix it up like David said. Anyways.
Very interested in this Cheetos story.
Yeah. So throughout the week, we will communicate as a podcast we'll do and talk about things that we'd like to have on the rundown. We'll meet Fridays, get stories out there. This past weekend, I had a family reunion. I don't know if either of y'all have attended one in the past. This was my first time attending one. My family's held one, I guess. I found out like every 5 or 6 years. My dad's just never really been interested in going. It's always in Chicago, and so it's very convenient to go this year. Have either of y'all done the family reunion at any point in time?
Went to one about 30 years ago. So
It's a long time
it's
ago.
been a minute.
I feel like you're due.
Literally.
I don't think either side of my family does family reunions. Now, I've done trips with,
Right.
but never something that was dubbed like the Marino or the Ruff family reunion. That's not a thing, which kind of makes me sad because it seems like I could see how it would be fun chaos. Also a beating, but overall like a fun, worthwhile thing. But you tell me.
Get you a flight to Dusseldorf or something, meet up with the family. I don't know how you say family in German,
I
but
feel like it's a fun 10 minutes and it's like, okay, good to see everyone. don't really want to carry on a conversation much longer. I'll see you at the next one.
That your hot cousin, she started mixing up with you, and you're like, oh no.
No, I wasn't thinking that way, but
Okay.
maybe.
I could see the Trimbackies having a big family reunion. What do you think?
No.
Okay.
I mean, everyone's just stayed in the Chicagoland area, so like every kid's birthday party, every holiday is just.
Oh yeah.
So
All
there's
right,
no
chef.
need for one.
Wacky Trimbacki get together.
Cousin shows up, does something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen the bear?
Trimbacki Fest.
Backy Fest. Tell us, KJ, what happened?
Yeah. So my dad flew into Milwaukee, which is not very far from Madison. You can get a few more flight options direct into Milwaukee from Dallas. I was very eager to see him. I don't often do the go into the airport and like wait on someone exiting the secure area. In fact, I don't think I've ever done that for a significant other or anyone. But in this situation, with two little ones, it was a good opportunity to get them out of the car, use the restroom, have them run around a bit while we're waiting on their G-Dad, as he's known to them. During this wait session, I'd identified a potential hazard on the airport floor. It's a carpeted area, large terminal, whatever you want to call it. And scattered about were red hot Cheeto puffs, but the balls. So just scatter on the floor. So I take my kids like clear across the other part of the airport. It wasn't like, anything was happening. It's just somebody had dropped a bag of Cheeto puffs. They'd been sitting there. I've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I see that being a problem. Janitor comes by, knocks out the issue. I come make my way back to waiting on old G-Dad to come out the secure area. And I look over my shoulder to see the woman that lives in this house, raises these kids with me.
His wife.
Standing over my 3-year-old. My 3-year-old saying, "That's too spicy."
No,
And she goes,
no.
"Kai, what did you do?" And I'm like thinking to myself, that MFer just ate an airport Cheeto.
A floor airport Cheeto. I was thinking
A floor airport Cheeto at that.
put this on the rundown. I thought, he just bought like probably a $14 bag of small Cheetos. No, this is a floor Cheeto.
No.
I have a friend, you know him. I don't know how close you guys are. He got a nickname doing this exact thing. Freshman year spring break, we were at. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'm just wondering where you went on spring break because I've heard some things about your spring breaks.
Spiffgate was sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the freshman year, we went skiing in New Mexico. My buddy, it was at night and we were drinking. I think he probably smoked a little bit of weed and he just absolutely passed out. He passed out, I think, eating Cheetos, and they spilled all over the floor. And an hour later, he wakes up, looks down at the floor, and just starts eating the Cheetos off the floor. And so we call him Cheeser to this day. Loves cheese, loves Cheetos. But that's how he got the nickname Cheeser.
I always thought that he got that name from like a cocaine habit. Seriously,
Okay.
not that I ever knew it, but Cheeser, I don't know. That's what I thought, but it's actually a lot more harmless, arguably. Was he okay?
Well, I don't anticipate my son eating them any time in the near future, at least the red hot ones. He did have some regular Cheetos later that weekend, but that was Thursday evening. Fast forward to about, or it was Thursday about 5 o'clock. Fast forward about 2 a.m. When he stumbles into our room, which happens pretty regularly. And he's burning up. Temperature's like at 101. And the only thing in my head is this MF has like what do you call it? A worm? A tapeworm or something. Like all I was thinking is like the worst case scenario food poisoning outcomes. And
Parasite.
That's probably
You have to get him on that ivermectin grind.
And so I'm just like, all right, we're hitting this with Motrin, getting some Pepto, because we're 48 hours from seeing nearly 95-year-olds in the family.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know that I can, drive him to the south side of Chicago for this reunion, and same car with my wife, 1-year-old, my dad, all of this. I'm just like, how do we sort this out? Wakes up, no fever at all. but it keeps popping up the last couple of days, and now he's currently in urgent care. Probably okay, in good spirits
Urgent
and good
care?
health. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm waiting on the final results. So don't think this is a morbid story. It's most likely he just has strep from like an unrelated thing as daycare or something. But if I find out this kid like is about to be on like the world's worst weight loss journey due to eating off the airport floor, like I don't know. Can I get an airport renamed after me, or at least like free flights out of this?
I don't think a tapeworm is in play here.
Yeah, I don't know much about tapeworms. I don't think you can get them from eating something off of the floor,
I
even
don't-
if it is an airport.
I don't think they live on floor Cheetos, but I don't. I can't
It's not
say
like red
they don't.
meat or lettuce or something.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think he's probably
Under-
doesn't have a parasite in his stomach.
Undercooked meats, I think, would be. Yeah, well, damn, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
He's okay. There's no like severe symptoms. It's more of like, the kid's still got a minor, fever. Let's go get it checked out. That's all it is. But just living in your head all weekend thinking of like whatever the grossest food selection might be is just, no pun intended, been eating away at me. So
Yeah.
let's do that show.
Let's do that show.
Shouts to Kai though.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
thinking good thoughts. Yeah, speaking of minor fever, we didn't even put Wander Franco on this rundown. What's going on there? Guys, allegedly problematic.
People really don't believe that we didn't have it on the rundown, but we legitimately did not. So
I looked to see if there was more, and it's all, I mean, he
watch
is now
that
on
one
the.
sail up over the outfield. Just play the natural in the background next time.
Yeah, Wander Franco, of course, the guy who had the very swaggy put out from second base. Remember that flip that he had?
Oh, yeah.
Same
That
guy.
was him. He's a very good ball player. 22 years old.
Yeah, turns out he's been hooking up with someone who's
Allegedly.
hooking up with someone who's not of age. In fact, 14 years
Not
old.
really even close.
He is 22 and she is 14, and she exposed him.
Yeah, he is not with the team. So it's really pretty much all we know. So, like, I don't know. We said, it's not even on the rundown because it's kind of like, all right, well, what are we going to do with this? But I think we checked the box. We're about to talk about some stuff that we're clearly very late on, but it wasn't our fault. It's just scheduling. But we're kind of ground floor. We're the only people talking about that story right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No.
Does not look good at all. She posted a picture. One of her pictures she posted is she's wearing his chain that has a big number 5 on it, and then of course pictures with him. So it's the evidence is certainly there. So yeah, it doesn't look good.
Is there any Julian Edelman-esque situations?
I don't
Like, I feel like the chain is about as far as you get, but I feel like the Julian Edelman equivalent was like she photographed the fact that there's no question about what this relationship was, not just, oh, I wore his chain. We just hung out.
After the Super Bowl parade, didn't like somebody
Correct.
Snapchat like him in her bed? She was like, "Oh yeah, there's Julian Edelman in my bed."
There's a picture of them kissing. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so there was something, and,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to imply like, is there anything like directly illicit? That's why I try to
Yeah.
label it at the Edelman
Nothing
level.
sexual.
Yeah, so
in
that's
nature
that's
from what
but
I've
still
seen.
that's there you go. Well,
well, let's
I'll
pivot
see
into
ya.
Johnny Football.
I'll see ya.
Here's a friend of the show. Much more fun to talk about. It's top 3 college football player of all time, Johnny Football, in the documentary, The Untold Story. He is.
Top 3.
I'd say so.
That's Dave's list, or what?
That's the D-man's list.
Okay.
Top 5 season. How about that? Top 3 season of all time.
He had a great season.
Thoughts,
Good way to put it.
concerns, questions.
Yeah, I don't sympathize really, because I don't know, man. Like I saw someone make the comparison to the Manti Te'o doc, and he came away as a very sympathetic figure. Like, okay, this is a good dude who just kind of got wrapped up in some really embarrassing stuff. He meant well. Good dude. Hope he succeeds. Johnny Football, you came away like, yeah, that's just Johnny Football, man. He is who he is.
Yeah, it made a lot more sense, and I think most of the stuff we knew, I had forgot a lot about a lot of it. But yeah, the Manti Te'o doc, which we talked about, was you kind of like, oh man, this dude just was very naive at the time, got taken advantage of. Like you said, a good dude. Not that Johnny Football, questionable dude. Nice guy if you ever need a photo, KJ, as you know.
Yeah, I would say it's tremendous to know that we were a part of, maybe his path back to neutral. Yeah, I don't want to say like the reclamation journey, but we're certainly a big part of that latter 5 minutes of the movie where he's like reconnecting with his father and, maybe becoming just more of a whole person, which is great to see. And I think our 4-minute encounter with him had a lot to do with that.
Big facts. He was not with Uncle Nate in Montana when we ran into him. Uncle Nate, who is a key figure in this doc, his right-hand man, the guy he split everything with 80-20, they haven't spoken since before the draft, which
Wild.
yeah, that honestly made me sad. I don't know why it shouldn't. I shouldn't really. I'm sure they're both doing fine, but I don't know. It seemed like this dude really, really was integral in the Johnny Football PR machine at the time. Obviously, keeping the heat off of him, a fall guy of sorts. I don't know. I don't like it when when there's a falling out like that, and they don't really give us a hint as to what happened.
I guess what's your overall thoughts on the documentary in terms of like it, didn't love it, and we don't have to like grade it, but did y'all enjoy
I did.
how it was presented or the way it was made?
I enjoyed it, and I really liked it. It was not a 5-part series, and they just got it over with in an hour, 10 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah, I thought it was as well done. They got to the point. Interviews with the key figures. You had the agent there. We had Uncle Nate, and of course Johnny Football. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. The biggest reveal for me was the whole his family is oil money rich thing was completely made up, because that was the narrative, and it was like widespread. Everyone knew, like, okay, he's affording all this stuff because his family just has a ton of money. And you could probably tell that like there's probably some shady dealings going on here or there, but so much money was getting thrown around that it just made sense that this is just family money. He was playing golf all the time, courtside at whichever game that was. It's like, okay, it all adds up. So it kind of everyone just let him off the hook. And I was talking to Dave the other day about it. Isn't stuff like that like pretty easy to verify if your family is, has money planted in oil?
Yeah,
It's
that is perhaps the most shocking thing. First, to your point about the duration of it or the length of the documentary, I'm complete opposite. I wanted a 3 or 4 part deal that was more in depth, talk to more of his teammates, maybe acknowledge his teammates a little bit more. But that's fine. But yeah, especially when the story is his parents have a ton of oil and gas money. So mailbox money. They've got royalty interest, mineral interest, and they're just getting paid for some, they're a great-great-grandfather who bought the right piece of property out Pecos Way and retained the minerals. You'd think a random landman, somebody who goes and runs title, see, they're doing it. They might see, okay, well, let's see what the Manziels got. Let's go figure out. Nobody. And I don't know how much I believe. I'm still not sure if they're running some kind of like disinformation campaign to protect the Manziels, because maybe they are actually rich and maybe like there could be some tax heat on them. I don't know I don't know. I'm just wondering, because it is very bizarre. That is a kind of a crazy thing to do. I remember, and Dillon didn't remember this, and it might just be like my friends. No.
Strays.
No. It's not. No, I wanted to see if you
dumb
do.
over here.
I think I'm the only one who thinks this. The rumor was that his family was older, previous generations of his family was related or was involved in organized crime in some capacity. I remember hearing that back then, and it kind of tied in with the money thing. But I mean, Dillon hadn't heard that, so I just don't know if that's something that was in my little friend group or what.
I will say that I don't know that I remember that specific thing. To the duration of that narrative, I've got one diehard A&M, like Texags, elite member, coworker, like great friend who I probably text almost every single day. How dumb of a relationship or friendship this is that I bet him straight up on A&M SMU, not the Manziel game. But I think maybe the next time they played in College Station, bet him straight up, and then shaved Texas A&M to the side of my head as I obviously lost that bet. I almost replied in a message about Manziel because I don't know if you recently saw the news that he's opening a bar named Money in College Station, which I thought was tremendous timing from a PR standpoint. I almost replied to him because he said, I wonder where he's getting all this money. It's like, well, it's not like he ever needed it. His family has always had money. Like, I believed that up until the moment of the documentary. Like, that was just a part of my knowledge of his history. So that's probably some of the best PR handling. And for that to come from his knucklehead friend, he needs a master's degree from A&M for that work.
Yeah, agree. I completely forgot that you once shaved A&M into the side of your head. I don't know. Have we seen the photo? I feel like
I think we've probably shared it during a live stream, but I do not mind resharing that in addition to our Johnny football photo for show posting purposes.
Speaking of Texags, you'd think being I'm going to go back to this. It blows my mind that if this isn't true, if this was a lie, that no one was even like, no one picked up on the scent, because you have Texas A&M, big oil and gas school. You have all these schools in the SEC. You've got Texas fans. You have message boards. And I feel like we knew all sorts of shit about Johnny. It was like, oh, Johnny knocked out some guy on a bachelor party this last weekend. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were hearing all sorts of stuff, never a peep about his family. It looks like his dad's doing pretty well, just kind of living on a golf course, playing golf in the pouring rain for some reason.
Can I back up a little bit? You made a great point, I guess, or to your point about wanting more episodes than what Dillon said. I think when I finished it today, I felt like that was the right amount, but that there were glaring holes of things that I did not get. They showed a clip when he mentioned like laundering money essentially through his granddad. He says, my granddad's a fucking G. They show his granddad sitting there chuckling at the table. I don't think he has any lines or any responses, and maybe he did, but nothing to the degree of like, we get his mom, we get his sister, we get his dad as like the voices of the Manziel family. They interviewed his grandfather. None of that was really woven into the story. I'm not saying I needed it, but clearly there's some stuff they either had and didn't use. We get Cliff Kingsbury, but he was the OC. He was not Kevin Someone.
Right.
It ain't like someone's been too busy to participate. None of Manziel's head coaches at any level agreed to participate. Hugh Jackson is not too fucking busy to participate. He's coaching like Eastern Tennessee State or something, maybe even just the OC. Like he could use the attention on his profile of, wasn't Hugh Jackson his head coach? I may be wrong there.
No, I think you're right. I never thought of this. I did think it was weird that they didn't.
Is I might be wrong because Hugh Jackson is definitely Baker Mayfield's head coach, but I don't remember who the head coach was. Whoever that was, we didn't see him, but we didn't talk to any head coaches. Maybe the high school coach, but I don't even think that's the case. And then, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And then glaringly, I didn't really notice it until the last few minutes, and I was texting y'all like, I want to see every single second of this because they showed a brief clip of him accepting an award or whatever acknowledgement with Mike Evans on the field. We didn't get a single teammate from any team aside from Uncle Nate.
Yeah, good point.
If you want to even clarify or like qualify him as that. And I don't know whose decision that is, but there are countless you could have found the backup fourth quarterback who was doing his drug tests to interview. Like they could have found anybody.
Why didn't Mike Evans
And
do
they
it?
didn't.
Like he's still friends with Johnny.
Assumedly, I don't know. Johnny made him a lot of money and vice versa.
Bomani on Twitter, Bomani Jones points out something that I completely forgot about, that there were 5 first-round picks on that A&M team, which is insane.
Not all of them deservingly, though.
No. You're right. But 5 first-rounders, and his point was like they made it sound like the entire team was just Johnny football, which he was awesome. He was electric. But, I mean, yeah, like Mike Evans being one of them. I'm assuming Mike was one of the 5 first-rounders. Had to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans, awesome. Cedric Ogboye. I can't pronounce his last name. He was the offensive lineman, one of their guards. I only know it because he ended up with the Jaguars at some point. Luke Jokel, a lineman out of Arlington, who also, I think, got drafted by the Jags, like top 5 overall.
So Jake
Both
Matthews
of them,
too?
Jake Matthews, who was actually, pretty decent. So I think 3 linemen, Mike Evans, and then you might have
Christine Michael, second rounder.
Pronounced Christian.
Yeah.
Is it Christian?
Definitely
Even though it's
pronounced
spelled
Christian.
Christine.
Oh, that's confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, Beaumont's own?
Yeah, and so there was a lot of talent there, but I don't know if that talent clicks without Manziel. I definitely know that talent doesn't work without Mike Evans. Like, there were so many deep balls that were just tossed up, and he was as exceptional then as he has been in his NFL career.
You're in addition to the teammates, the glaring omission is like you'd think his high school coach would be like a fun person to talk to, just because that's in documentaries like this. It's the high school coach is always involved, and that's like it's fun. It's like just sharing a lot of fun stories from how good he was, but nothing. And I'm sure Johnny did. There's probably a number of people on a list like, nope, not talking to this person or this person or this person. Keep it close. Keep it to Cliff.
So in order for Johnny to agree to do it, because they did it in his house. Obviously, he sat down at length and opened up, to his credit, quite a bit. We said that about Manti. They gave a lot of story, and I wonder if that's the give or the take of it. In order to get this info from the star, you give them a little bit of control who's involved. But Dillon, any thoughts on we're going all over the place here. What do you think of his high school team?
Well, first of all, I was going to say they touched on a lot of the story. One part of the story they didn't touch on very much at all was the Colleen Crowley stuff. So they touched on it. He mentioned the car situation. That was pretty glossed over, I thought, and that was a very tough situation, I think, that they didn't, and I understand why they didn't want to get into it, and probably everyone had an understanding that we're not going to talk too much about this, but that probably, in fairness, deserved a little bit more attention, I think.
Yeah, it was
At least
2
the
minutes
headline.
in the thing. That's it.
It was, and no detail was given. I know that she had a restraining order on him and all that stuff. So that was uglier than they portrayed in the doc, for sure. What was your question about
100%.
his high school team? Tyvee?
Kerrville Tyvee. Any thoughts on I don't recall many programs operating in what they portrayed. This is even a few years after my time. So this would have been late 2000s, Kerrville Tyvee, but they're doing fucking military bear crawls under wires in sand, and saying his dad sought out or chose this program because he knew how regimented they were, which seems very manipulative and bullshit to me. But all that, I saw that and I was like, get the F out of here.
Yeah,
That's probably why your team never won shit.
It also seems like the kind of off-season program that Johnny Football would absolutely not participate in. Can you imagine him actually doing all those drills that his coach tells him to do? He's like, no.
Were they crawling under wire? Were they doing the army crawl?
Mhm.
That's so. What is that?
I don't
In sand
know.
pits.
No one is doing that.
Yeah, you don't see that anywhere.
Again, on Johnny's dad though, you mentioned him. Did you notice when he kind of tried to assign blame to the coaching staff at A&M for not keeping better tabs on his son, be like, hey, you're supposed to kind of help raise him too.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Assigning a
was
little
that?
bit of blame.
Yeah, that's sorry.
Come on, dude.
when you turn your son over to a program and to coach. Now, granted, every effing coach in college claims that that's a part of their responsibility, but
Yeah.
every single coach will also say that this is a joint effort. Like that kid is only going to be as strong as like the collection of them. You're welcoming them in, like it's becoming a three-way relationship from a raising somebody into a person standpoint. And Kingsbury said very flat out, I don't really think it was my place to tell him how to live. He was the OC. He's not the head coach. Like, yeah, he's in that room. Yes, it's his position coach. He probably talks to him more, although some was an offensive mind too. But like the absence of that someone, and I don't expect Cliff to say like it was someone's job, but there was something unsaid there.
Yeah, he seemed to be surrounded by enablers pretty much every step of the way. No one to just check him. His agent was just powerless against him. Just like begging him, like, dude, you have the combine in like 3 days. Just please keep it together for 3 more days. That's all you got to do.
Sucked.
And just absolutely couldn't do it.
I kind of like his agent.
I do too.
I thought he was a great agent.
It's a tough job.
Like he was very, very matter of fact, and you could tell like it still bothers him how it all ended up. Credit to Johnny for allowing them to talk to him and putting that in there. The story, the combine story about Johnny's dad potentially faking a heart attack to provide some cover. I sign me up for the agent who does that. Like, I want the agent that's willing to lie about some heart attacks, if we're gonna be honest here.
Did you think Dallas was going to take him in the first round? Because I absolutely did.
Yeah, dude, they tried. Jerry Jones tried to. I wish they would have gotten into
Do
that.
you want
a
to tell
bit.
that story? Because I guarantee most of our listeners
No.
don't know a Dallas Morning News, Sports Illustrated like byline that like Dallas local radio talks about way more than people know.
Jerry was stopped from turning in the Johnny Manziel card by his son Steven. It's just I'm pretty sure that's the gist of it. Like he tried to, and they got into a physical. They didn't fight, but like he grabbed him, and like everyone had to basically talk him out of it.
Correct. And that's the reason that they took all of the time on the clock before that decision was made to put in the card for Zach Martin.
Zach Martin,
Now-
by the way, upgrade alert.
Just agreed to a new deal.
I saw that.
Holdout's over.
Future Hall of
Hadn't
Famer
seen
Zach
that.
Martin.
Yeah, that turns out to be a wonderful, wonderful move. Shout out to I'm assuming that was a Will McClay,
Our boy.
the GM,
Yeah.
the de facto GM of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think Steven was the one who physically got involved, but obviously Will was probably the one being like, yeah, this cannot happen. And I'm sure there were other voices in the room.
Do you think that
But-
would have worked, him in Dallas?
Honestly, I don't know that it would have been worse than Cleveland. Now, I think that there's a lot of shortcomings that all lay at the feet of Manziel. Specific, like starting line one, the Colin Crowley thing, you can fuck up in every other way, like the drug use, skipping practice, all of that is independently self-destructive. Like only on himself, and it's only his responsibility. When you get into the domestic violence range, like, all bets are off in that regard. There's no defense there. So would it have worked better in Dallas? I think we could all agree that Dallas has more experience with dealing with people like Johnny Manziel.
For sure.
And it's mocked widely that Dallas has programs in place, but I would say just at a minimum, the experience of how to have the credibility of a Jerry Jones or have like the credibility of being the Dallas Cowboys and looking him in the eye. You have to imagine if you're Manziel, you're also looking at the Browns who haven't won anything in ever. And you're like, yeah, I'm better than all of you to whatever extent that's, you know what I mean? Like that would be carried on. He's standing next to Brian Hoyer, who has a tremendously respectable career, but like, again, if you're Manziel, you're not looking around seeing anyone who's quote unquote on your level, so to speak. Maybe OBJ, but even then, you're in Cleveland. So if you walk into Dallas with that, like he said, he went from one fishbowl city to another. All eyes would have been on him in Dallas, but you can disappear in a big city like Dallas. Cleveland's not tiny, but you know what I mean? Like you could have lived in that life, but have had some more well-equipped support. He still wouldn't be in the league, but I don't know that it would crash and burn like this.
I'm just thinking about Manziel at Dragonfly, at Hotel Zaza, Bottle, like all of the bars that are just made for
Ghost.
a guy like Manziel to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and to just go and just tear it up. And man, that would have been really. It would have been a miserable period for a Cowboy fan, but it would have been really fun for everybody else.
I don't think it would have worked out because I don't think like all of the tools inside and out were there. But again, they employed Terrell Owens, and from a sports like they needed a sports psychologist to be involved. He shouldn't have been diagnosed with being bipolar after his career. That should have been known like within 6 months of being in an NFL organization.
I don't think he was going to work out no matter where he ended up. I think he was like destined to fail because he just didn't have like the right wiring for it.
But he looked at zero film.
But like as a contrarian, like maybe a place like Dallas would have been better for him because he was at least like part of like the playground instead of being in a place like Cleveland. He's like he feels like he's so far away from like action and where he wants to be that he just kind of goes crazy and does like gets into drugs and all that shit, and he just kind of feels like he's just in no man's land out there and lonely. And I don't know.
This might be an unfair comparison, but like just everything about him and what made him great at the college level, high school level, very comparable to GOAT MMA John Jones, and just the self-destructive tendencies, the, just like when he gets out there, like John Jones, arguably the best of all time. And then off the field or out of the cage, it's like, what wild ass shit is John Jones going to do? How can he sabotage himself? So some guys just need that action. I don't really know where they intersect. But it's just, I don't know. It's wild. And I'm happy that they didn't try to shy away from it because they leaned all the way into the party angle. And like, I got hungover just watching this fucking thing, just watching them bonging beers, hitting bongs, beer bongs, all that shit. You know what the kids are doing, probably popping Zen.
Bonging beers, hitting bongs.
Hitting bongs, just a lot of bonging, drinking coffee.
Playing beer die. You should have heard me try to explain the beer die tables outside of some of the houses here in Madison when I was driving my dad around. Like, I never sounded more old.
Oh, man.
I think I referenced Spike Ball in trying to explain it. And I'm like, I've never seen it played live. I've only fucking seen like clips. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyways, side note, had he ended up in Dallas, there would have been a gentleman 25 miles to the west who would have been able to, I don't know, just tell him, maybe share an I Am Second bracelet with him and just tell him what life's lows are really like, because you would have had Josh Hamilton and Johnny Manziel in the same sports metroplex.
That's bad. That's
and
bad.
Young Tyler Sagan, but Tyler's
upstanding
doesn't need
individual.
to catch a straight here. Exactly.
Well,
does not need to catch a straight here.
Yeah, as you put Johnny Manziel in a Sherlock's. You put Johnny Manziel and Josh Hamilton at Sherlock's in Addison or Sherlock's in Arlington. It's a problem. It's an absolute problem, man. The
Overall,
Josh Hamilton Rangers era. Yeah, good. It was good. It was under 90 minutes, and I wanted more, but it was good for what it was. So shout out to John.
If they did not have the other stuff, they made the right decision. If they had the other stuff, they should have given it to us because could have used it.
Think we could get Uncle Nate as a guest at some point? Anybody have it? Someone we know? We know someone who knows Uncle Nate, right? Clearly. Surprised it's not you, KJ.
Yeah, a few years after, but I mean, I'm sure that Brett could make a couple calls here. But frankly, like after seeing this, it made me think to the Montana interaction, and we did nothing to like beat the guy down or be just a problem for him. But it did make me wonder, like, obviously Nate's been involved in doing this, so he's open to speaking about Manziel, and I'm sure there was some agreement for it. But like, if we did have Nate on, like, would he be in a position who's like, I want to talk something else? And if you do run into Manziel, like, he's still making money off of being Johnny Football, or trying to here soon with his new bar. I'm hopeful that he, like, whatever effort he's made to like kind of reset like that's able to continue without like having to kind of blow it all up again. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know where I'm going with that, but it just made me sad to see the whole thing and then think back like our interaction was about as neutral as you could be. You know, there are people who are way fucking worse.
Yeah.
And seeing that ceremony with the in uniform in their like dress white U.S. Marines, maybe they're Navy midshipmen that were in their uniforms at the very, very beginning, holding out the swords and Manziel's walking through. Those were Marines, right?
That's the Corps. It's the A&M Corps, not actually affiliated with any branch of the military. I believe that's what you're referring to.
But the signatures after and people coming up to me, oh, you got to do the money sign for him. I'm like, our interaction was not that. I wonder how many of those he has to go through on a regular daily basis. Like, I'd live in fucking Scottsdale too.
We were just chunking deuce. We didn't make him do the money sign. We were just trying to get out of there, get a pick, go viral, give me a clout. All right, fun doc.
Riz it up.
Hey, can we talk about our good friends at Rocket Money? Let's talk about Rocket Money. Personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. We've got a coworker out here who just realized he had multiple Peacock accounts. He's previously had multiple ESPN Plus accounts. I was paying for some podcast platform that I listened to one show on, and for like the next 8 months, I'm paying on it. And the reason I found out is because Rocket Money told me over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, and chances are you're one of them. Like that Stars app just to watch one show, or that free gaming trial you never actually used. Rocket Money will quickly and easily find your subscriptions for you. And for any you don't want to pay for anymore, just hit cancel and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. It's that easy. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorizes your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and get alerted if anything looks off. That's helped me out before. I've gotten alerts like, whoa, what was this? And I double check. Turns out it was just a little error. Anyway, it saves you a lot of heartache down the road. Over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bang. That's rocketmoney.com/bang. We're all huge fans. rocketmoney.com/bang. How we feeling on Hard Knocks?
Quick question first. Did they release episode 2? I couldn't find it last night.
Tuesday nights.
Oh, why did I think it was Sunday?
Because I thought the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I really thought the same thing, and I was talking to KJ Friday, and yeah, so we just have the first episode to talk.
Yes, that episode 1 of this season was my favorite Hard Knocks episode I've ever watched.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was fucking excellent.
Okay. I thought it was good too.
It was. So there's like a moment before every football season where I'm like, there's like, okay, football's finally here, and I get super excited. That happened during this episode when Aaron Rodgers is just like putting the ball wherever he wants over the field, and his teammates are like, we've never seen anything like this before. That was so fucking cool.
That was cool.
I think Aaron Rodgers is probably, sorry to cut you off there, I think he's probably the most naturally gifted like thrower of a football I've ever seen. Just not the best quarterback, the most just naturally gifted, just can fucking sling it guy. It's unbelievable what that guy can do with the football. So that was really fun.
Agree. Were they okay? Because they definitely leaned into like the teammates. They were basically like stopping what they were doing to watch this guy, and they were in awe of him.
And then the coach is talking afterward, like, we got a Hall of Famer at quarterback now, like, because the Jets, it's been a minute for them, right? They haven't had a guy like him under center in a very, very long time, or maybe ever. I don't know. Joe Namath was the last guy. I guess they had Brett Favre for a little bit, but anyway. It was just cool to watch, man. And the coach is just talking about, like, look at this throw he makes, and they're breaking it down, like back shoulder throw all the way across the field. Like, no one's making that throw except for him.
How do you feel about Zach Wilson? And now he's having to handle all this. Because I was waiting for that storyline to kick in, because that is the not the elephant in the room, but it is awkward.
Number 2 overall pick, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
This is his third year in the league.
And just seeing like him, and he's there, and he's obviously been demoted, and watching all of his teammates be like, yeah, now we feel like we can win. Now we got this guy. And you're just sitting there like, well,
I mean,
I'll fuck myself.
It's so obvious though that he probably is like, yeah, I get it. Like it's just so obvious that
Is
Aaron Rodgers is just far superior at the position.
is he the kind of? I mean, you have to be the kind of person who's willing to be like, you know what? Like I've been humbled. I'm going to learn from the best, one of the best, and I got to just embrace this. Like
Yeah.
because
You
I was
have to.
worried he kind of put off like he might be disgruntled vibes, like just based on like the little that I know about him,
Yeah.
outside of his like ability to pull like really really good looking 48-year-olds. But it seems like he's handling it pretty well through one episode. KJ, your thoughts? You love older women.
I walked away more impressed with how Aaron Rodgers is handling the situation, which is silly because for somebody who doesn't like direct media questioning or direct media attention, he's very good in the media and does a lot of press or does a lot of content creation, I should say. So I shouldn't have been surprised in like how smooth he was in the limelight. He was at ease. He was relaxed. He looked like somebody who understood none of this effing matters. It is week 1 of camp. This is Hard Knocks. Who gives a shit?
Ayahuasca will do
Hall
that
of
to
Fame
you.
game. Like he was very at ease. He also looked to be kind of putting on a show in more than one way. I was blown away that the voice of Hard Knocks was well, Ray Donovan. Like that I didn't expect. And if the character's name is not actually Ray Donovan, I'm just going to let you know I've never seen an episode of Ray Donovan, but they always show his face and they put the name up and they say Ray Donovan. So if that's not actually Ray, whatever. I had no idea. Anyways, I appreciated the Sauce Gardner segment. That like completely fixed my perception of him, only because he dominated SMU when he was at Cincinnati, rightfully so. He's a tremendous talent. And I just thought that, he was somebody who was much more, I don't know, not a jackass. I don't want to seem insulting, but like he did not come off at all how he plays, which is stupid to say, but he's tremendous. It really helped my perception of him. And then I would say lastly about Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fucking way this guy can stand in a huddle and look other adult males in the eye and motivate them to do absolutely anything. He needs to be playing maybe in Green Bay, but like that kid is not cut out for anything in the NFL just from a sheer like credibility standpoint. He doesn't have the backbone, much less like the jawline to like make people believe it. It's stupid to say. Like Justin Herbert looks 12, but he's also like 6'6" and physically imposing. Nothing about Zach Wilson like makes you think that this kid is like going to lead you to glory, and he doesn't perform well enough to like make you forget about all that either.
Why do you think he might work in
one.
Green Bay? Is it because it's like the whitest place in America? And Zach Wilson played at BYU, right? So.
A little that, but I think that he needs to be playing like
not in New York.
Somewhere safer.
As somebody who really loved the Andrew Garfield Mormon show or Latter-day Saints show, I was going to say a lot of LDS shows.
It shows a very blue collar
there wasn't
place.
A team close enough. Yeah, there's not another team close enough to Salt Lake. I could have said fucking Denver, but that doesn't work. Mr. Unlimited's there. Cardinals, I feel like are too swaggy, and Vegas doesn't work out. So Green Bay, the most swagless team in the NFL.
Sounds like you're bearish.
Zach Wilson belongs.
You're bearish on long-term Zach Wilson. You're going to short his stock. This is finance talk.
It works out great for him because, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is late in his career, I mean, a minor injury could prove long-term stability for Zach Wilson. But geez, to have 98% of the room be like fangirling over the guy that you're kind of somewhat in competition with, dude, you got to find another house. Nobody in there wants to see you play.
Yeah. I was curious how they would handle the Sean Payton stuff. And
Yeah.
they showed, like you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers talking to the media and doing that. And who is that interview with NFL Network or ESPN, whoever it was, the keep my coach's name out of your mouth. And just hearing Aaron Rodgers talk about, was it Nathaniel Hackett? Is that the name I'm looking for?
Mhm.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you for bringing it back. Sorry, I shouldn't have dropped it.
I thought it was
Go ahead.
kind of nice. It seemed like a legit respect and friendship. Unless I've just been taken, if I've fallen under the spell of Aaron Rodgers.
No,
Who
you're
was
right.
last year's Hard Knocks?
Lions.
Lions. Year
I
before
thought
that
it-
was the Cowboys, correct?
Cardinals was the in-season one, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cowboys was
And-
before.
Remember the standout clip from the Cowboys season that Mike McCarthy comes into a meeting room, puts on a movie, and talks about specific moments in a movie?
Mojo
what movie that
moments.
was?
No.
From
what-
Austin Powers.
Okay. Yes, it was Austin.
And now
Powers.
you're telling me that Nathaniel Hackett, offense coordinator from Mike McCarthy's years in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, is just a diehard Gold member fan, and they just reference Austin Powers constantly. It's the corniest shit ever, is all I'm saying. It's like that was meant to be like his whole like endeared relationship thing, and I'm like, I couldn't stop making fun of Mojo Moments 2 years ago. I'm not letting you off on this one.
yeah,
'Cause
no
we can all
one's-
agree that was a waste of Beyonce's time.
Well, she wasn't great in it. The writing was very poor, and the movie had lost its novelty at that point. And no one, I promise, no one is quoting Gold member in 2023.
Nathaniel Hackett's Pirates of the Caribbean. What's the main character's name? His new
Johnny Depp,
the character.
Captain Stab.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But his facial hair is fucking atrocious.
It's not good.
He's got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Aaron's got to pull him aside and be like, dude.
I don't know if he's the
made
guy
some
to do
question,
it.
He made some questionable hair
He's-
decisions himself, but my
yeah.
God, it is terrible.
He's probably not the guy to sit him down. Maybe
Jack something.
Jack
Sparrow.
Sparrow. Yeah.
Thank you. It's awful.
Good job, Randy. Good pull, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Randy should be the go-to. I've never seen a second of those movies, but
Yeah.
yeah, he does strike me as somebody who could stand in for the lead singer of Disturbed at a concert.
Okay.
That's the look I got from him.
Okay. I didn't expect Disturbed to come up today, but things happen on this show. Overall, very happy for this season. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait for the we haven't even done any of the rookie stuff yet. We're only through one
Yeah.
episode. That's gonna be fun. That was a good episode last year.
I can't wait to fall in love with all the new undrafted free agents, only to see them cut in 4 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And then you're like, oh,
They won't show it.
they don't do that anymore.
The
that-
Jets put out like a press statement saying that they will not be when they accepted it, they will not be showing players being cut.
You're kind of, if you're me, you're like, oh well, they're still gonna get signed to the practice squad. That's still cool. I'm like, yeah, trying to think of like any kind of victory. I don't know. I like some of these guys. Okay.
Zeke is expected, this is breaking, expected to sign with New England.
Okay.
1 year deal, $6 million.
Oh,
Miami Dolphins fan.
okay. That's good for him.
Yeah, if they don't show the cuts live on Hard Knocks, I want them to just do like the players walking off the practice field and just have his body fade to nothingness, like just fades away. Slowly.
Like Field of Dreams,
Exactly.
like walking back into the cornfield.
Correct.
Hey, is Dalvin Cook still not on a team?
Correct.
Okay.
Or Kareem Hunt.
But Zeke found a roster.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Get him where he fit in.
Interesting.
I think the Deuce Vaughn week 1 performance of preseason may have made Zeke realize, sounds like I'm not going back.
Yeah, I'm willing to throw a parade for Deuce Vaughn after one preseason game.
That kid just squirts through the line, doesn't he?
He squirts the word.
He squirts everywhere.
Dude, yeah, I've been there, brother.
Slippery little fucker.
Slippery little fucker.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Didn't get the dub.
It's preseason.
Shut up.
It means absolutely nothing.
Preseason KJ. Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. They took that L. They did take that preseason L, but Deuce looked good, dude. I think there's going to be a lot of teams being like, oh, we could have taken him in like the 3rd or 4th round. It would have made sense.
Or the 7th or the 6th.
Yeah. A lot of teams passed up. Deuce Vaughn revenge party,
Including the Cowboys.
including the Cowboys. Anything else on Hard Knocks?
So into it so far, man. Needed it.
Looking,
Okay,
looking
your
for more
Horny
Robert
moment.
Saleh.
your hypeness on this is starting to make me a little bit more hype because
It was
I
such
enjoyed
a great.
it.
It was such a great episode, man.
Okay, we'll see if it can deliver.
Aaron Rodgers somehow likable. Didn't see that coming.
He's learned a lot in the last couple years. Maybe who
But
knows?
he's like a, I don't know.
He's
The way all of his teammates look at him is just like, wow, this dude is actually on our team, and they're so excited for it. It's just fucking cool.
Yeah,
He can fucking spin it, man.
even the I don't know if like last thing is when he was at Green Bay and they drafted Jordan Love. I don't know how helpful he was to Jordan Love. How he obviously was not happy that they drafted him.
He said similar to the same quote that Brett Favre made when they drafted Aaron Rodgers, that it was
Exactly.
not his job to coach by
Yeah.
replacement.
And you know what? To be fair, there's a lot of quarterbacks who've taken that position. I think look at Romo and Dak early on.
Seems to be pretty helpful with Zach Wilson, though.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I'm wondering how much of that is like probably circumstances. Like he knows he just cucked this guy's job. And
The
there's
biggest
Cam.
QB cucking.
Just a very visible one. I'm sure Zach Wilson
They
was real
made him
stoked.
stick around and watch.
Yeah, I'm sure Zach was really stoked when they found out that the Hard Knocks was going to be putting all of this on camera. Very cool.
All right.
I'm a guy who's on camera quite a bit. I'm wearing a hat right now, but I've been wearing less hats on camera. Why is that? Why do you think that is, Dillon?
Is it because you're taking Nutrafol?
That is it.
Okay.
Hair's looking good. You don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. There's a holistic solution for men that promotes both healthier hair and whole body wellness. Get ahead of thinning hair with Nutrafol's whole body approach to hair growth. No drugs, no compromises. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Been using this stuff for 6 months to a year, something like that. I'm definitely noticing it. I feel good when I take it. Nutrafol's hair growth nutraceuticals go beyond genetics to multi-target the root causes of thinning, including stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, and lifestyle through whole body health. Physician formulated using natural medical grade ingredients. Nutrafol's drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. Hey, hand up. In my 20s, might have taken something. Might have taken a prescription that actually does compromise your sexual health.
This
Wish I had this. Wish I had this in my 20s.
Might I suggest that it has the opposite effect of compromising your sexual health?
You've never been sexier.
Ooh-wee. Just saying.
In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after 3 and 6 months. Nutrafol is also trusted and recommended by more than 3,000 top doctors, including my own dermatologist. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code DIP to save $10 off your first month subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. Get $10 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Use promo code DIP. Talk a little Phil. Big week for Phil. The book that's been referenced for like the last 2 years is finally getting some excerpts put out there.
Mhm.
And this is not the kind of pub you want if you're Phil. Not that it really matters, but we have learned that he has allegedly wagered more than $1 billion on football, basketball, and baseball over the past 3 decades, and allegedly attempted to bet on the Ryder Cup he was playing in, betting for the U.S. team, for the
Now,
record.
That number, like total, that's a total of his bets, right? So it's a little misleading. Like I could sit down at a blackjack table and I could wager like 20 grand over the course of a weekend, but I'm probably going to be down like $60, you know? Like it's just a total. Like you're going to break even in most of those. And it's still ridiculous. I'm just saying,
And
put it in perspective a bit.
Proportionally, like Phil's got it like that.
He's got it like that.
Like
yeah.
I saw somebody on Twitter doing like a breakdown, like, okay, compared to if you were somebody who made $100,000 a year, this is what that would look like. And it actually makes a lot more sense. But Phil's Phil's hit such a weird part of his career. He lost to Cam Smith in this week's Live event, which I didn't watch, but um, pretty
Missed
impressive
out.
for a guy. Did you watch?
No.
Okay, well, don't say that. You said it like you were like glued to it.
No, but I know it was Cam's like third win.
You saw the same tweet I did. Very cool. Walter's the guy who's writing the book. He's viewed as one of the more successful professional gamblers in recent memory, with sports books limiting the amount he could wager at their establishments. He was convicted of insider trading in 2017 and served 5 years in federal prison. Mickelson was named in that insider trading case. He was not accused of wrongdoing, but agreed to pay back close to $1 million earned on his stock tip he received from Walters. That's interesting. 1 million is nothing to Phil, but it's still interesting. I remember all that going down. I forgot that was the resolution. Phil's just, this doesn't really change how I feel about him at all. Like, this is like, oh yeah, I kind of figured. It's fun to see the numbers and it's fun to see $1 billion tossed around. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I kind of knew this was Phil's thing. He's pretty full throttle.
Yeah. Yeah. None of the, yeah. I mean, we've heard about Phil and his gambling for a very long time. None of this is that surprising. I mean, the dollar figures are, I guess, but fuck, man. KJ, you got anything on it?
No, really, all I wanted to do is go back and just confirm that in spite of all the things we've ever heard about Phil and his money, not really issues, but like habits with gambling and over tipping and being very generous. Like, I always thought it was kind of funny that his main sponsor was like one of the big four accounting firms, including some of the SEC issues he's had in the past. And the only time, or at the point that actually broke that relationship, was when he signed the reported $200 million signing bonus with Live Golf, is when KPMG US would be ending their relationship.
That's where they draw the line, surely.
Even though like he would have to wear a team hat from then forward, and the value of that relationship would have diminished significantly. But hey, you know, at least they were able to kind of get out on a high note. But yeah, I think it's kind of baller if like your entire persona is built on just being kind of rich as fuck and being willing to gamble. Like him and Barkley both get away with this. I think Jordan kind of has a little bit of negative connotation associated with his gambling addiction issues, or gambling habits. I shouldn't say addiction issues. But Phil, Barkley, like everyone knows they've lost a ton or gambled a ton, but everyone's just like, yeah, it's just who they are.
It's just that Phil's still kicking, still playing, and still competing in majors.
And gambling on active events and whatnot.
Potentially gambling on himself.
On the Ryder Cup.
Before we party, I want you guys to just kill 2 minutes while I go drain the main vein. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Don't say it like that.
That's what people say. Sorry, cold brew got me.
When you are like crazy rich like that, I understand wanting like to gamble just for like the thrill of being interested in stuff you wouldn't otherwise be interested in. But when you're doing like 6-figure wagers, man, you're already rich. You're already there. Like, why are you? It's crazy to me, like, to risk that much.
I wonder
of your wealth.
But don't you feel like every time we hear about these personality types, like they're the same intense personality types that would sweat a $5 bet with you over nothing if you knew them, like if you were there in person? Not that we know anybody's betting $100,000, but like they're the same type. Jordan, for example, when we saw that documentary, he's betting with like the security guard. $20 or whatever. And he's sweating that, or just as intensely interested in a $20 bet as he is to a $100,000 wager.
It's just about like, the thrill of competition.
Yeah. And I wonder at what point does like exhaustion hit? Not with like the thrill of winning or losing or chasing a gambling win, but like, I feel like there's a lot of energy put into gambling. Like, just think about filling out a weekly pick'em for the NFL or for college or whatever. And you've got to pick your 15 teams every single week. Like, even if your stakes are low, you're putting a little bit of energy into it. Unless, of course, you've got a good partner like DraftKings. But no, like if you're seriously like going out and like wagering big dollars, aren't you like scouring for some notes here or there, or trying to find a guy with a tip? Like eventually, Like
I don't know.
Like, that seems like it would take a lot of time.
I feel like
to
at that
gamble
level,
that much money.
when you already have that much money, I feel like winning another $100,000 is like a feeling. It's like, oh, cool. I already have a bunch. But if you losing, it's got to hurt more, like much more
Yeah.
than winning.
Yeah, that's a great point, guys. So
Thanks,
love
Dad.
it, man. Hey, Daddy's back.
All right, let's go. Let's party.
Time
Let's
to party.
party.
It's the part of the show where we talk about some things and we party at the same time. What's so funny? Are you reading Run It Back? You're looking ahead?
Of course. It always cracks
This
me up. Go
guy.
ahead.
Hey, just want to give a quick thought to the new Titan Stadium rendering, Randy, if you may. And I just want to caution everyone, because we are the three of us. I think we're all Texas Rangers fans, first place Texas Rangers. We've got a new stadium, a couple years old, and this rendering that's been going around. This tweet here is from Front Office Sports of what the Titans' new stadium will look like. It looks very PlayStation-ish. That's been tossed around. But I want to caution everybody. It doesn't mean it's going to look like this. As a fan of the Rangers who thought their stadium from the outside would look much different, and now it looks like a charcoal, or what did we say, a gas grill, a shed,
A shed. Wait,
a tough shed.
What did the like initial renderings look like for the Rangers' new stadium?
It didn't look as metally.
It looked cooler.
There was a lot
Translucent?
more glass involved, but we cut some corners. Maybe we were running up against some heating and cooling issues.
This looks sick.
from
I'm
the
not
sun.
gonna lie.
No, this does look dope. This does look
Real
dope.
sick. They still have the
It
ugliest
kind of looks like
uniforms in
they
sports,
took a survey of all the new like restaurant / gaming locations. Like this is the new Top Golf / bowling / surf and bar and eat joints, and just built it into one stadium. Like that's just kind of what it reminds me of.
It is doing a lot. That's a good way to put it.
The inside looks fairly plain by modern stadium standards, I would say. Outside looks dope. Inside, like the actual field part of it looks. It's just a nice stadium. There's nothing like. I mean, SoFi has that ridiculous, video panel all the way around.
Yeah.
The Cowboys obviously have the one hanging over the field that gets in the way of punts. But this is just like, okay, that's nice.
And this is going to be downtown per the rendering. That's pretty dope. Must be nice, man. They didn't find no offense, KJ, they didn't find a terrible suburb 30 minutes out of town to put their football stadium in.
Mm-hmm.
No offense. I can't talk.
Just didn't knock down anyone's childhood neighborhood or anything.
It's almost as nice as the new Prosper facilities.
Bring that up, Randy.
Prosper, Texas, which is a Dallas suburb, correct?
Yeah.
Or is it just north of Dallas? Is it considered a suburb?
It's a Dallas-Fort Worth suburb. It is, I believe, a little bit closer to Dallas. If I'm not mistaken. I've never been up there. It feels like it's halfway to Oklahoma from Dallas. But
This is unbelievable.
yeah, the new high school, the tweet that's going around. Let me get that weight room real quick. I think about the high school weight room where I went to school, and which is a pretty big school. And I know there's obviously more money getting put into football programs. This looks like a D1 college weight room.
It absolutely does.
It's insane.
The basketball arena looks like a college. It's just a small version of a college arena. It's so freaking nice. They have an indoor football facility that's, I think, probably nicer than the University of Texas one, which is they're replacing that in a couple of years. But this is just unbelievable.
Let me get that food court.
They have like the screen hanging over the basketball court like you see at actual arenas. Like you don't see that in high school.
We got some healthy options for the fellows. We got Jimmy John's. We've got something else. We got Sonic. No place hops like Sonic, Dillon. Get some tots.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get some tots at lunch?
Yeah, I have, Dave.
KJ?
I'd be down for a chili cheese dog from Sonic more often than not.
Did either of y'all have like the food court sitch at high school?
No, we had a Pizza Hut station on like one day a week.
Little personal size Pizza
Yeah,
Huts?
but it was just a cafeteria line with like really generic food.
We had carts. So they had the cafeteria with the standard district meals or whatever, but then stationed around campus because they tried to keep everyone on campus growing up in the post-Columbine era, post-9/11 era. They had like a Chick-fil-A cart where you can go get you some waffle fries or sandwich with or without pickle. You also could hit up like a Subway, like pre-wrapped 6-inch subs. And you had like 3 options there, or the Pizza Hut cart. None of those applied, because your boy would be off campus just trying to get second or third base or something.
You want to know a name that is a notable Prosper High School alum? How about former Red Raider great Davis Webb? Went to Prosper.
Former quarterback?
Very cool.
Yeah. There you go. Fun
Very
times.
cool.
Yeah, it's interesting because like you think about Allen High School, which is like a powerhouse. Where Kyler won a number of state championships. Prosper, good program, but you don't really think of it as like all right, let's put in $50 million for the high school football team. Not that kind of program, but we'll see what they do this year.
It's a good indication of what's going on in the North Dallas area. You mentioned Allen. People have seen the headlines about the $40 million stadium they built. McKinney, Texas, built a similar stadium that's just north of Allen or nearby. Prosper just being even further north. That's where the suburban sprawl is, and like the money comparisons, it's just kind of how it goes. What's wild in my last note on like dragging this way out is you would think that like a little of this money would just go to standardizing, or not standardizing, but making it a requirement to have indoor practice facilities for Texas high school football. I was talking about this a little bit this weekend. Like, nobody should be practicing outside for high school football anymore.
Man.
That should just kind of be, how do you get this, not stadium situation, but indoor facilities need to be mandated. That's my soapbox.
A lot of them just say, all right, we're going to start practice at 5:30 in the morning before it gets too hot.
Dumb.
Yeah.
All right.
James Harden called out Daryl Morey in China. Thoughts?
China.
That's a mess. That's a mess in Philly. It was honestly one of the funnier videos I've seen. I forgot it even took place in China. It just makes it funnier because if you'll remember, Daryl Morey he was applauded by many, maybe even on the show, for speaking out against China. And then there's a backlash, and I think he had to apologize. I don't know. But James Harden in China on a basketball, some kind of basketball trip, called him out, said he's lying, wants to be traded. Gonna be ugly start to the season for the 76ers. And then,
No way.
yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought? Trust the process. And then you got Michael Orr. KJ, did you see The Blind Side?
I did not.
Did you?
Almost
I'm the
intentionally.
only one who has.
I've not seen The
It's a good
Blind
movie.
Side.
I know the story. I know everything about it. I just
Me too.
get uncomfortable watching what could be deemed as white savior films. It's a whole nother, we'll save it for another day.
Oh.
But like the basis of the story was kind of weird to me. So I opted out. But Dillon, does this change your opinion of Sandra Bullock's heartfelt tale brought to you by Disney?
Won her an Academy Award.
I still ride hard for Sandra Bullock, who has nothing to do with what's going on here, by the way.
She
You
didn't
and I
know.
both.
She just played a real person.
A real person with a bad Southern accent.
Yeah,
I said it.
Man, it really makes like the movie and the story. I think there's a book too. It makes the family look like really incredible, generous people. And if what is being alleged is true, it obviously taints that whole situation. So I don't know what to think. I guess we'll wait for more stuff to come out about this, but it doesn't look good for the Tui. Is that how you say it? Tui family?
I think it's Tui. Was their story in the movie that they
Tui.
actually adopted him? Because it turns out they didn't actually adopt him.
I think that is how it's portrayed in the movie. It has been a minute since I've seen it.
Which
but-
has obviously some significance, legally speaking.
Right.
And apparently
Correct.
Michael Ward didn't make anything off this movie. And I think he's alleging that they made hundreds of millions of dollars.
hundreds
off of
of
it.
millions.
That's what he said.
The movie grossed $300 million. The family has certainly like received royalties, but as he is not family, he has received none. But at the time when it was making all that money, he, I think, looked at it as kind of like, great, this is kind of the payback, and was focused on his football career when this was going on. Only now, after his career, he's kind of learning some of the details in which he now stands to not make any
A
of that
very
money.
lucrative career, by the way.
Correct.
He had a good
Which
career.
shouldn't
Doesn't
change
change anything.
I mean,
No.
if anything, like his success is like what's driven the movie. Like nobody would care if this was guy fizzles out in third year of college.
Absolutely. All right. Time to run it back.
Of course, that is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Noodle Arms Shane Buechele made exactly one good play in an NFL preseason game, and these guys are getting all excited about it.
I feel like there's some editorializing.
KJ's
there.
kid ate airport floor Cheetos and got sick. Update: he does not have strep throat.
Okay.
Big for the squad.
Big ups.
Dillon did remember that one Johnny football detail that Dave remembered. That he
Sorry,
pointed out. No, it's fine.
my larger point was that I was maybe making it up.
Johnny Manziel was bonging beers, hitting bongs.
Fuck yeah, doing Zen.
KJ thinks Zach Wilson isn't a leader because of his poor jawline, which he pointed out.
Fact.
And finally, Hard Knocks Episode 1 was Dillon's first horny moment of the 2023 football season. That concludes Run It Back.
Fantastic show.
4 out of 5 eggplants.
Covered a lot of ground. We'll be back next Monday. We'll have a definite schedule for the DraftKings live stream. I think you're gonna have fun. Oh, hey, shout out to our Duncanville guys signing. You had the Colin Simmons UT announcement. You had Caden Durham signing at LSU. DeCorian Moore.
They didn't sign.
Well,
anywhere.
okay, verbal.
They committed.
It's a verbal commitment.
DeCorian doesn't sign
Texas.
for a year and a half.
Got to recruit through the buzzer, Dylan. You got to recruit through the end, man. That's
Right.
something you learn.
We'll see if he stays at LSU. We'll see.
Texas landing the number 1 recruit in the class is a huge testament to the Arch Manning greatness. So shouts to him.
Very cool. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.